Trojan family, what's up? Welcome back to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. Tonight, whenever you're listening to this, if it's later, you can watch the replay, but tonight, 7 p.m., so in like 2 hours, or depending when I publish this, probably an hour, Tim Prunelli and myself will be live right here on the USC LAFB channel, talking all things USC. So make sure to tune into that if you're watching this ahead of time. If not, like I said, the replay will be there. Go check that out. But jumping on here because a little, I don't know if that's an update necessarily, but some more chatter about the USC Notre Dame rivalry. Finally, after all of this has gone down, and partially because Notre Dame decided to skip their bowl game, today was the first time Marcus Freeman has spoken to the media since their last regular season game. So it's been a month and a half. And obviously since that has transpired, that's when this announcement came the series would be going on pause for the next 2 years, or basically 4 years, and then we'll see from there. So this is the first time he spoke. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but obviously we all know on the USC side that USC offered to move the game or put an offer on the table to say, hey, I've talked ad nauseum about the reasons. I can't, like, if people don't understand on the Notre Dame side, then I'm sorry, we can't help you. But we don't want to play USC does not want to play the game in the middle of their Big Ten schedule. They'd want to move it to the front, just like basically every non-conference game for every other team. For the few that bring up the few remaining, Georgia Tech, Florida, Miami, or whatever order they do that. Those are intrastate rivalries. You're not crossing, half the country to go do. It's a little different. And I think we'll see those move to the front. And I've said this many times because those conferences for the first time starting this year are now moving to a 9-game conference schedule. The SEC, the ACC, they were all 8-game conference schedules before this year in 26, moving to 9 games. So I think in the coming years, we will see those games move to the front end, just like Oregon State has moved to the front end, just like Washington State has moved to the front end, just like UCLA and Cal is on pause and going to be picking back up in the front end. So this is not like rocket science. That's been, I think, the crazy thing from the USC perspective is, hey, we want this game, but for us, we need to play at the beginning of the schedule. Notre Dame turned that down. And so the Notre Dame side continually said, you're running, but aside from running, you put a faulty plan in place. Like you can't even play week 0, yada, yada, yada. So finally, we hear from Marcus Freeman, because remember, Marcus Freeman was the one. And I think what fans need to understand is the coaches might have a say, or there's a conversation, but this is above the coaches. The ADs, the boards, they decide this. The coaches might say, hey, we'd love to see this happen, but it's not Lincoln Riley and Marcus Freeman deciding their schedule of this game. Like they're going to, pitch certain things and they will have a say. And obviously some coaches have a little more sway than others, but ultimately this is a decision between the ADs and the other powers at be. But Marcus Freeman was the one that famously said, we'll play you anytime, anywhere, any place, or anytime, anywhere. And so Lincoln Riley really was poignant, or not poignant, but was very direct when he talked to the Alamo Bowl, saying like, hey, I guess they don't want to play anytime, anywhere because we put this offer for week 0. They went back on their word. We thought we could get that done. They decided to put it on pause. So we're on pause until we can figure it out. So Marcus Freeman's quote today was, that rivalry is important for college football, and I'm confident that we'll get that rivalry back. And then he says he respects the USC position, notes that moving a week 12 game to week 0 isn't what's best for our program. So I think that is key for 2 reasons. One, didn't say like it was impossible, NCAA wouldn't allow it, said it wasn't best for them. Meaning, as we all know, and Notre Dame fans need to realize this too. Like, if you can't sit here and say you're the all-powerful Notre Dame that can do whatever you want, but then be like, oh, no, there's rules. You can't play week 0. One of the provisions is a scheduling conflict. Like, this could be easily fall under the scheduling conflict for a couple of years, move it to week 0, and then ultimately in the future, once Notre Dame's schedule is not, lambasted out for so far, move it to week 1. Like, that would be very easy to do for a couple years. Anyone that doesn't believe that is naive. The NCAA does not hold that much power. I think we all know that. The conferences hold all the power. Notre Dame, not in a conference, but they do have a lot of power as well. If you don't believe that, then you don't believe they have any power at all. So you got to understand those kind of 2 things. So from sitting here, now obviously now USC fans will say, see, you ran, you this, you that. I think that the understanding, which will never happen, that's why it's a rivalry, that's the beauty of it. Fans will never see eye to eye. The understanding is that each program is doing what's best for them. It's best for USC to move this game to the front, not in their conference play. And for now, I think Notre Dame can change this, but for now, because Notre Dame has already scheduled so many games, front-loading their schedule, planning, 10 years in advance because they pick and choose their schedule, it's not best for them to have, 3-4 tough opponents to open the season. Like, I think we can agree that's not best for them. You can call it whatever you want. So I think the understanding is just be like, hey, unfortunately, because of how the scheduling came down and the timing of it, it actually just makes more sense to put this on pause. It's going to stink from a fan perspective, from a tradition perspective, but then we'll pick this back up in 2 to 4 years. Really it's on Notre Dame's terms, or not terms, but it's on Notre Dame's table now because they're the ones that picks their schedule. So if they decide, hey, okay, let's open things up in the beginning of the schedule, then they can make this happen. And I think USC would be like, great, week 1, week 0, whatever. If you don't want to call it week 0, week 1, week 2, week 3, let's make it happen. But that comment says really all you need to know. So there's no hiding. The ball was in Notre Dame's court. They were the ones that said, we want to play this game anytime, anywhere. It doesn't matter. We just want to play the game. And they were the ones that said, not in our best interest to play this at the beginning of the season. You can't fault them on that. But they're the ones that went back on what they said publicly. And when they said that publicly, everyone came to their defense. Oh, look at Notre Dame. So strong. So powerful. They're not scared. USC's the one running scared. Notre Dame will play them anywhere. Except at the beginning of the season, apparently. They'll play them anywhere, anytime, as long as it's in September or October. So, that's the last of it. We probably won't talk about this again. I don't plan to. I didn't plan to do this, but, I thought it was interesting just because we finally have heard from Marcus Freeman. But we probably won't talk about this for another 2 years or so. We'll see after 2 years when this conversation and negotiations, most likely it won't be till 2030 when a game is back. But I'm sure these conversations will pick back up in 2028. And we'll see if we can get something done. So I still think USC is looking to schedule Stanford. I still believe that's on the table, right around this time. Or it might have been right before. It just kind of came to light because of how much was going on when this was announced a few weeks ago or a month ago or whatever it was, that Stanford and Notre Dame's scheduled game is not official. They still may be trying to work it out. But as of now, Stanford needs another non-conference game. Their Notre Dame game at the time was not on their ACC conference schedule. It was a non-conference game. And so as of right now, Stanford Notre Dame is still not under contract. Stanford needs another game. It could certainly look like Stanford and USC can get the weekender back, whether that's for good or at least in this interim until the Notre Dame thing gets figured out. And hey, that's a great plan B. I've said many times, I think all USC fans agree. You don't want to see this rivalry end. But if it has to go on pause, which it's going to, if you can replace it with the weekender, get that back, that's great. Same time zone. I mean, that's a historic rivalry, obviously. So all that is good for there. So don't shoot the messenger. I'm sure there'll be plenty of Notre Dame fans commenting and throwing hate at my way and commenting on my hairline, which doesn't matter because I got no hair anymore. But that's just the facts. That's just the facts that USC offered to do this. Notre Dame said it wasn't in their best interest. That goes against everything they said prior to anytime, anywhere. You can't really spin that. You can't really spin that anyway. So, Notre Dame fans will try. Notre Dame media will try. But this is the same team that just yesterday put out a full video of their coach celebrating their captains for deciding to not play in their bowl game. Now, there's various reasons to be proud. I'm not trying to pile on these young men and whatnot. But releasing a video of your coach, like almost emotionally in tears, praising leadership to decide to to quit the bowl game. I mean, I don't want to be one of those old Scrooges on the get off my lawn shouting at clouds. That seems a little backwards to me. Now, there was maybe other reasons why he was proud that behind the scenes we didn't see, but they were the ones that released that video, or at least it was on Peacock, their partner. They were the ones that decided to have it filmed. So the same coach that's praising his leadership captains for backing out of their bowl game is the same coach that said you'll play USC anytime, anywhere, but then said, it's not in the best position for our program to play then. It is what it is. So anyway, that's that. Put a bow on USC Notre Dame for now. Hopefully the game's back 2 to 4 years, and then we can get all back to the fun banter and whatnot, which I'm sure this will get plenty of Notre Dame fans streaming in. So any USC fans feel like commenting and combating back, it should be a good time. It always is. Notre Dame fans, it's fun to engage with. So I do appreciate you. I appreciate the thoughts and the engagement. And a lot of Notre Dame podcasters that end up commenting, and I've commented back, would love to get you on the show and we could talk. No one responds to that. So if there are any Notre Dame podcasters that want to just chat about this, have a conversation, hey, I'm all in. Let's have some fun. This is a fun rivalry. This is what football is about. It's what sports are about. So, all right. Well, Tim Prangley and myself will be on in about an hour and a half live here on the USC LAFB channel. So hit that like and subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified every time we go live, every time I drop a video. But we'll be here. So hopefully we'll see you all here taking your comments. So be active in the chat. If you're watching this on Twitter, come over. We'll be on Twitter too, but come over on YouTube. That way you can engage in the chat and we can feature a lot of your comments and I'm not going to lie, we get more revenue over on YouTube. So jump over to that and that helps us out. Certainly. So appreciate you all. We'll see you all very soon. As always, fight on. Hey, Trojan family, thank you so much for hanging out and watching the USC LAFB show. Before you go, let me tell you quickly about our friends over at Sleeper. Go right now, download the Sleeper app. It's the #1 sports app, not just for season-long fantasy, but they've got live pickers, they've got live stat updates, they've got a chat you can chat with other users, plus the daily pick'em, which is a blast, or daily fantasy, whatever you want to call it. You go and pick 2 to 8 players across any sports. If you're talking USC, go choose J.D. Maiava in his next matchup. Pick more or less passing yards, more or less touchdowns. You stack those, and you can win real money. When you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code USCLAFB. You're going to get a match deposit up to $100. Put in $100, you get $100 free to play with from Sleeper. Put in $10, they'll match you that $10. So now you're sitting at $20 to play with. But also right now, for any new users, no deposit required. You get $20 free entry. You can stack both. You can get the $20 for free. Go make a deposit. Use USC LAFB. And now you've got a bunch of free money to play with right there on the Sleeper app. Check it out, Trojan family. And when you do, tell them the guys at the USC LAFB sent you.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.